Chapter 33. He slowed to a walk. As far as he could tell, nobody was chasing him. He could hear voices coming from back by the truck, but he couldn't make out words. Occasionally, he'd hear the revving of an engine, but the truck wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. He headed in what he thought was the direction of Big Thumb. He couldn't see it through the haze. Walking helped calm him down and allowed him to think clearly. He doubted he could make it to Big Thumb with no water in his canteen. He didn't want to risk his life in the hope that he'd find refuge there. He'd have to go back to camp. He knew that, but he was in no hurry. It would be better to return later after everyone had a chance to calm down, and as long as he had come this far, he might as well look for Zero. He decided he would walk as long as he could until he was too weak to go any farther. Then he'd turn around and go back. He smiled as he realized that wouldn't work. He could only go halfway as far as he thought he could go, so that he would have the strength to return. Then he'd have to make a deal with the warden, tell her where he found Kate Barrow's lipstick tube, and beg for mercy. He was surprised at how far the holes extended. He couldn't even see the camp compound anymore, but he could still kept passing holes. Just as he thought he had passed the last hole, he'd come across another cluster of them a little farther away. Back at the compound, they were dug in a systematic order, row upon row, allowing space for the water truck. But out there was no system, as if once in a while, in a fit of frustration, the warden would just pick a spot at random and say, "What the heck? Dig here." It was like trying to guess a winning number in a lottery. Stanley found himself looking down into a hole he had passed. He didn't admit it to himself, but what he was looking for. After more than an hour had gone by, he thought he was surely seen the last hole, and then, off to the left, he saw another cluster of them. He didn't actually see holes. He saw mounds of dirt that surrounded them. He stepped over the mounds and looked into the first hole. His heart dropped. Down at the bottom, a family of yellow spotted lizards. Their large red eyes looked at him. He leapt back over the mound and ran. He didn't know if they were chasing him. He thought maybe he had seen one leap out of the hole. He ran until he couldn't run any farther than collapsed. They hadn't come after him. He sat there a while and caught his breath. As he got back to his feet, he thought he'd noticed something on the ground, maybe 50 yards away. It didn't look like much, but maybe a big rock. But in the land of nothingness, a little thing seemed unusual. He walked towards it. The encounter with the lizard had made him very cautious. It turned out to be an empty sack of sunflower seeds. He wondered if it was the same one Magnet had stolen from Mr. Sir, although it didn't seem likely. He turned it inside out and found one seed sticking out of the burlap. Lunch.